Hey there and welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness and today I want to talk about my writing goals. So I've been writing for several years, basically my whole life, and at this point I have 2 completed manuscripts, and when I say completed I actually mean they are first drafts that are far from done. I also have a million other unfinished projects that I'm working on, like every writer does, or I'm pretty sure every writer does. While I have goals broken down for each of those projects, as well as some short-term goals in general, today I just want to talk about some of the overall goals I have as a writer. Number 1, get published. I think it's safe to say that this is a main goal for most writers, but I'm still listing it because it is, of course, something I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. I'm really wanting to be traditionally published, though I have been toying with the idea of also being a hybrid and self-publishing some of my poetry and short stories. Number 2, be able to write full-time. Again, I think this is one that most writers want, though not all of them. If you watch Alexa Dunn's channel, she has stated multiple times that she does have a day job and she does not intend to quit it. So if you're a writer who doesn't want to work full-time, you're not alone, and it's not a big deal. For me, once I developed panic disorder, it was a very, very long and difficult process getting myself to be able to work a normal job. And it is still something that I struggle with. With that said, my mental health gives me, personally, more reasons to want to be a full-time writer at home. But it has always been a dream for me. I also understand this goal is not usually attainable for most writers, but it's staying on the list. I wonder if you guys can hear the construction outside. See. Number 3, write a series. I love a good series. My 2 favorite authors each have a series, and those series are what made me fall in love with them and the reason that they are my favorite authors. Bobby Adair has his post-apocalyptic series called Slow Burn that I tore through and have been reading through a second time. And Lindsay Sands has her paranormal romance series, the Arjuna series, which I've been reading since I was 15, and she's still putting books in that series, and I love that. I always have another book to look forward to. Now, Slow Burn is officially done, I believe, but when he had initially announced that he was going to be continuing Zed Murphy's tales, I, fangirled so hard I lost it. With that said, I'm pretty sure he's officially done with it now, and that's okay. No pressure. Seriously though, that's fine. I love them, regardless. And I've been faithfully buying every Arjuna book for 13 years. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's how I've been pronouncing it all of these years. All of that to say, I want to be able to give that feeling, that excitement to my own readers, assuming by then I am at a point where I am published and have readers. Number 4, learn to write faster. This is something that is starting to happen naturally as my skills develop and I've changed the way that I outline and plot. And I used to be almost exclusively a pantser, but it's not really true for me anymore. Nothing wrong with being a pantser, just I thought I was one. And after learning that I'm not, I'm writing faster. Any of my former bosses can tell you that I'm not the best with time management. I have a bad habit of focusing on the wrong things and not stopping till I've finished, only to later learn that I should have either focused on something else or split the time between the two. With that said, most of my issues are directly related to my mental health, so that is a hurdle of its own. But I do want to be one of those authors that puts out at least 2 books a year, and writing faster would definitely help with that. And number 5, stop doubting myself. I've talked about this one before, and I always say it's true for pretty much every writer, at least at some point during their journey. But I really would like to stop doubting myself so much. My mind likes to go to the worst case scenario for basically any situation, and for something I have as much passion about as my writing, it gets super intense. We are almost always our own worst critics, and for me, that what if voice can get so loud. Which again is something that's tied to my mental health struggles, but it's on the list, and I'm working on it. So that's the 5. This list was actually very hard for me to come up with because I wanted to make sure I chose things that were realistic and didn't have deadlines attached to them. With that said, I actually have 2 other videos that'll be coming out at some point. One that covers those unrealistic writing goals that I have, and one that covers the ones that have deadlines attached to them. I still don't know if this was a great list, but it's made, so there it is. Anyway, like this video if you enjoyed it and this is the kind of content that you want to keep seeing, and subscribe if you're interested in watching my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness. Enjoy the happy moments.